So I woke up today and I go here, check my usual stuff, and it says J.C. Shawire added a photo of me. Oh, look, the infiltrator. And it's a woman with a red and orange dress with reddish orange blondish hair on a red carpet with red writing. And I have red hair, they want me to think that's me. This J.C. Xavier with a picture of a robot? That is Satan. And there's that new movie about the shapeshifter girl that turned into the giant fox turning red. There's so many ways I could prove that they want me to be a girl with red hair. Billie Eilish dyeing her hair red on I could show you where it's on. Hold on. They've been doing stuff all over the internet recently where um Billie Eilish on one of her fan pages having a picture of her with red hair, girls all over commercials and movies with red hair, which is exactly what I predicted them doing before all this ever happened. And this also matches the fact that they have some weird mental disorder where they want to copy whatever I call them. If I call them infiltrators, they want to call me an infiltrator. As you can see on some of my videos where I show you that I have people admitting to being alien, satanic, Luciferian infiltrators right to my face, and no one finds it suspicious. This also matches how I say I'm Jesus Christ, and they want to say they're Jesus Christ. I call them infiltrators, and they want to call me infiltrators. I call them women, they want to call me women. And it was all a tactic to get them to expose themselves, because they are so immature and childlike, where they just will risk anything, because they took advantage of their hubris and their narcissism, where they think they can just do anything and not get caught, and they think that you humans are stupid enough to never notice this. Now I need someone to actually help me by noticing what they're doing. This isn't normal. If you think it's normal to all of a sudden see all the people around me start dyeing their hair red. Now it's all the commercials, and I told you they're affecting me online. And then after a while, I couldn't message anyone on Facebook, and then they thought that would be too suspicious because I was reporting it online. And then all of a sudden they stopped doing it, and I could message people on Facebook. What if you couldn't message anyone on Facebook anymore? That wouldn't alarm you? I guess you guys are all as brain dead and going to hell probably. I'm Jesus Christ, and I promise I would never want to send someone to hell. But what the hell is your guys' problems? Who can watch my videos and think this is normal? I told you that there's people after me trying to convince me I have to be a girl, and that they're me, or other versions of me, and that they always copy what I call them, and they always do this weird opposite thing to do something similar with that. And there's a J.C. Chevalier, or Chauvier, basically trying to say that I'm an infiltrator, and that I'm a girl, and that they're me, which matches everything I've ever been talking about. And they're doing it online instead of offline, which is exactly what I've been talking about even after that. So, I would love to know how anyone thinks this is normal still. I would love someone to text me at 978-715-5036. No one. Only one person texted me, and I think that once they couldn't prove my videos wrong, they stopped texting me. It's like no one wants my videos to be real and just would rather forget about it and pretend it's not real. You wouldn't rather warn people with me? You wouldn't want to be on Jesus' side? I'll remember every single person who saw my video, thought it was real, and never clicked on it again. I will remember, and you will remember me. And this isn't a threat, because I would never hurt anyone. I'm not threatening you, I'm just saying I'll remember you. Now tell me, you could easily end this if all the humans in the world all together started really noticing all these demons. If you went up to someone and you started talking about Orgolorg, like the time I had a guy on camera, I talked about all these cartoon characters and he ran away. You think that's suspicious at all? I do. I know it is. I can prove everything I'm saying in my videos. If you ever heard me talking about another video in my video, I can prove it, or else I wouldn't say it. One person talked about me swearing a little bit in my video and said I couldn't be Jesus. Well, sorry. I'm being attacked by demons in ways that I don't even talk about. And in all these ways I talk about, and I get aggravated and I swear twice. I'm so sorry I can't be as innocent as you want your Jesus to be. I'm so sorry you don't want to be saved from your sin because you'd rather tell me who to be than love me for who I am sometimes. And if you want to call me a false messiah, let me tell you, you would need to be a psychologist. You would need to understand human behavior, alien behavior. You need to understand politics. You need to understand conspiracy theories and history. You would need to know body language. You would need to know tactics. And you'd need to probably be in the military to understand exactly 100% how and why everything is happening for this reason. You need to know serious strategy to understand why the Illuminati wouldn't go around or condone anyone going around saying that they're Jesus Christ, and that the Bible, if you truly believe in me, I wasn't warning people about humans saying they're Jesus. Obviously, there's nothing to worry about because I have real evidence that I'm Jesus and that Satan's real and hunting me, and no one cares. So obviously, if a human was saying they're Jesus, there'd be nothing to worry about, apparently, as you can all see. What I was talking about in the Bible is people going around saying they're me to me and to the government, and eventually they're going to be so ballsy where they want to go around and have other people that isn't me saying they're me to other humans. Or shit, there's going to be people that actually go around and start saying they're Jesus after a while, and it's all because you guys didn't get warned by me. And then I bet you're going to believe in them because they're going to try to be so holy, and they're going to actually be aliens instead of someone who's half human and half god. And they're probably going to try and make it so that they have magic powers. Like they're going to have real fake magic powers, just like it talks about in the Bible, performing false signs and false miracles. My miracles and signs are real. And you guys are all going to believe in them because you're just going to want to. They're going to appease to what Jesus you want and what you think is real. There's people who want me to fall from the sky, and there's lots of signs that I've given in part of my puzzle pieces that if you know what I'm talking about, look up on Facebook. This is my Facebook. I'll show you. Please add me. If you look at all, you could tell I'm not schizophrenic. If you really looked at my writing, you can pause it too if you want. This is me explaining the 10 Commandments and 7 deadly sins in a way that God wants me to do for all of you, and I'll expand on it another time, and I'll really go more in depth. But this is just a loose definitions of what I'm talking about. I would love to see anyone argue with me. And when I say I'd love to argue, I mean more debate. But I mean, I know humans just want to argue, and I want to debate. And then this, modern day preaching. I'm preaching about phones and how dangerous they can be. And then, like this. This is me warning people. And yes, you will have to pause so that the video isn't too long. But this is what I'm basically talking about, is using their tactics and influence that I've touched upon before. Satan and the Illuminati wants to harvest people's pain, misery, and direct everyone's internal struggles toward, and resentment / sin and mental illness to another person or group of people in order to make everyone divided, miserable, sinning, and project what they can't accept about themselves, hide down, and in turn, Satan wants them to project it onto others, in particular groups. Satan wants the left versus the right, race versus race, gender versus gender, etc., and even more. And I can go in more in depth on this because it's hard to use my brain when I'm getting attacked in ways I don't talk about. These are conditions to mass division and even steps towards a civil war. Satan is an energy demon, I call them, who feeds on the innocent in the fear, pain, and controlling people that they're addicted to. That is what lizard people are hardwired to do, feast off of fear, pain, and control. One day, you will all be wide awake and think, oh my god, why didn't we just believe in him earlier? I mean, it sounds like sci-fi what he's talking about. It seems like there's no way that's real because I don't want it to be real. It's called optimism bias. Let's look up optimism bias together. And if you're watching this, please don't exit off because that's your optimism bias. Optimism bias describes people's tendency to overestimate their likelihood to experience positive events and underestimate their likelihood to experience negative events in the future. It's a variant of optimism bias where you all think that I can't be the real Jesus, or I must be a false messiah, or that what I'm saying can't be true. It's all basically subconsciously linked, or without you knowing it, in your brain, without you knowing it, or stuff you don't know about yourself or understand about what being human is that I would understand because I'm a psychologist as a doctor. And yeah, I really am a psychologist and a doctor, by the way. Um, you don't understand what it's like to be human as much as me, because I'm God, talking through this body. You just don't want to believe me because you don't want to feel wrong. You don't want me to feel. You don't want to feel unsuperior. You want to feel superior than me. You want to win an argument against me. It's either one or all of the above of what I'm naming now. You there's no way Jesus is talking to me. That sci-fi stuff can't be real. It's all your social pre-programming. It's all your social programming. It's like going through life, your culture, what you've experienced in life, the TV shows you watched, especially because all the stuff I'm talking about seems like it's on a movie that you would watch and it would be sci-fi or fiction. And this stuff is real, and that's exactly what the devil wants you to think. The devil wants you to think I'm an antichrist or a false messiah. And the devil wants you to think that if I say the devil wants you to think, it must be coming from a crazy person. In movies, they always say, that's what they want you to think. And then the audience will automatically think that's like what a crazy person would say. Because they know how I talk. They've been waiting for me. They want everyone aiming their metaphorical guns at each other and feeling like they should all group up for defense. And once this grouping begins, the dehumanizing of other groups starts, and slowly, a sense of superiority, each group and feel. They basically want to make humans. Okay, let me look here. Dehumanizing of other groups starts, and slowly a sense of superiority each group will feel from being a part of said group will happen. Natural human biological systems are being hacked for sadistic pleasure and monetary gain, to make humans sin and become miserable, addicted to drugs and all other topics I've touched upon before, and thus making minions, who some even believe in religion, and don't understand how no matter how happy, caring, and religious kind they could be, they're pawns in a game they didn't know was real. Just by being distracted and dumbed down due to generations of satanic infiltration, and much like Yuri Bezmenov stated, eventually people will become so subverted that they will not see your ways, even if you give them evidence to the contrary. Even if you provide them with real and true information, they will not believe it's real and true. Which is exactly why you guys do not believe in what I am presenting to you. And I bet if this sounds like some different language to you, it's because it's not. That's like someone who is knowing algebra, not able to understand calculus. This is a metaphor, by the way. It's like someone who understands psychology 1, not being able to understand psychiatry and psychology 10. And let me tell you, this is like you would need to know geopolitics, history, psychology, human behavior, religion. You would need to know God. You need to have faith. You would need to know the real me, and that real me is not that girl. It's just evidence that why would they put a picture of that up unless they want me to think I'm an infiltrator, not to tell anyone or something. So if you don't understand what I'm talking about, it's because try walking into a class about psychology or history and not knowing any of it and try and be like, that's a different language. Have everyone in that group would laugh at you. If you went into a class teaching advanced psychology and history, and you said, it sounds like a different language, I don't understand that you guys must be schizophrenic, everyone in that room would laugh at you, or turn their head and assume you're a crazy person. So, mass mental health can cause such a ripple through time that can be a root cause to events larger. Cataclysmic events such as mass shootings, and even civil war and World War III. This may seem like an over-exaggeration, but I can assure you it's not nearly as much of an over-exaggeration as you might think. Sin can cause societies to mistrust each other hate and become resentful and bitter with one another's on a scale that will one day happen and be like a scene from a movie. Lucifer's main goal, the Illuminati's Lucifer, is to get the world addicted to pleasure, sin, and to become a mentally ill and a drug addicted at the same time, so people will continue to be force fed ideas and become more susceptible to sinful behaviors and pass them through their generations. And people get these ideas through TV, commercials, movies, and then people see those TV's ideas and movies and act like people or idolize people in those TVs and movies, and people in those ideas possess them in some weird metaphorical way, and then they then pass them like a mind virus to other people. It is like a virus rippling through generations. And if you don't know what I'm saying, you can't say I'm crazy. Because if I didn't understand what you were saying, like I told you, you would need to understand so much about history, psychology, religion, philosophy, that you talking to me, it's like talking to an alien when I'm talking about these subjects. I am not schizophrenic and delusional. I mean, I can understand when you're watching my videos, but if you were to really talk to me, you'd understand that maybe there's a reason that the government would be on to me and wanting to come after me. And if aliens and Lucifer were involved, they wouldn't want me talking about this stuff. And if you want more of this, come to my page and tell me I'm schizophrenic. To get back to the point that humans do not know what is real, they do not understand what is important or even how to run themselves, especially how to run society. And like a dog getting tied up in its own leash, humanity has made it nearly impossible to progress or dial back what it has done to itself. What I am saying is that humanity is pulled by unforeseen forces known as culture and upbringing and what is on TV, what is on TVs and commercials, what is societal norms and all that, and that those have such a force on who and what people become that it's almost impossible to get rid of it all without a total blow up phase where basically societies just realize, oh my god, and everything just blows up in our faces. And when I say our faces, I mean your faces, but I'm down here too now. Might as well be our faces now. Because society is in basically, it's like a dog wrapping itself around a leash that they can't get out of. And that's to say if Lucifer and the devil weren't real. I mean, people can't progress because when you watch TV, you're idolizing characters. You want to act like them. You want to be cool. People drink and smoke more. If there was no such thing as TV, do you know how often people wouldn't be drinking and smoking as much? Do you know what ads do to people? Alcohol ads. Do you know what watching movies where all the main characters all smoke and drink? Do you know what that does to you? Do you know what watching TV shows and movies that have like a cool group of people make you think of when you see people acting like that and you want to act like that too? And being in like all these different subcultures of like, I gotta be tough to be cool, and in order to be cool, I can't be like this, or I gotta be like this, and most of that comes from TV. Do you know how hard it is, or it is to exceed in life when you're just drowning in TV and video games and sin and pleasure? And then it's like a dog wrapping itself in its leash, metaphorically. And the way I talk a lot of times is metaphors. And to understand me, to understand why I think this isn't normal should be obvious. But if you humans think you're smarter than Jesus Christ himself, then by all means, why don't you come to my Facebook page and we can have a nice, intelligent, civilized debate where I talk and you talk. I talk and you talk, and we do not talk over each other. We do not talk at the same time. We don't argue. We don't swear. We don't get angry. We have a polite, civilized discussion about how what I'm experiencing. I mean, it's not just people placing stuff around the store. Well, it's not. It's the common themes in the stuff being placed. It's the fact that whatever I think about in my head then happens in real life, such as people dyeing their hair red everywhere. People weren't dyeing. I know you're probably thinking he just probably didn't notice them dyeing their hair like that. He probably didn't notice that there was just as many people dyeing their hair red as there was then and now. No, I'm telling you, there wasn't nearly as many people dyeing their hair red, and I have it on video evidence of a girl that had brown hair, then all of a sudden had red hair, and it's this girl that always makes herself noticeable to me at Burger King. I mean, I'm telling you reality, and you just believe what you want because of that different form or variant or branch off of optimism bias. If you can't talk to me, you've obviously never talked to a doctor. You've obviously never talked to anyone intelligent. You've never talked to someone wise. And that might be and is an over-exaggeration, because I'm hoping that you would have at least talked to a couple of smart people in your life. But if you're just believing whatever you want, more than the person that's actually going through it, and you're just assuming without evidence, then I'm assuming you never talked to or are smart at all. I'm assuming you're just some random schizophrenic delusional person. But I'm not going to assume with or without evidence. I'm assuming with evidence, because if you're, just like I said, if you're not willing to talk to me and try and prove me wrong, then that must mean you probably know you're wrong. In my opinion, a doctor's opinion is better and bigger than your opinion, just some random human I'm assuming you'll be. And if you want to say I'm narcissistic, cool, good. I really don't care. There are many conformity experiments, books, looks at historical events and psychological facts, etc., that when looked at and extract meaning and wisdom from, would conclude the dangers of all these cultures and subcultures, concluding that they could perpetuate what makes a society degrade into anarchy and even authoritarianism. At the very least of this spectrum would be mass mental illness and drug addiction, therefore increased incarceration. I would love to know how I sound like a schizophrenic or delusional person to anyone, at least at this point. People must be waking up because of their optimism bias. Like when last time I was here and people said it's like I healed their blindness, it was a metaphor. When it was like I healed them from their illnesses, because I made them happy no matter what, because they thought and knew they would get heaven eventually. It was a metaphor. I know that I know nothing is a saying derived from Plato's account of the Greek philosopher Socrates. Socrates himself was never recorded as having said this phrase, and scholars generally agree that Socrates only ever asserted that he believed that he knew nothing, having never claimed that he knew nothing. It is also sometimes called the Socratic paradox, although his name is often instead used to refer to other seemingly paradoxical claims made by Socrates in Plato's dialogues, most notably Socratic intellectualism and the Socratic fallacy. Keep in mind the way science and information have evolved. What humans used to believe in versus now, people used to think the world was flat. Now, this is something from Wikipedia. The rest is me. And this is an example from Wikipedia. The rest is me. You can't get pregnant standing up. Again, these are all things humans used to believe. Can't get pregnant standing up. Earth is flat. Sun revolves around the Earth. Plague and malaria are controlled by bad air. Humanity has always been a superstitious species at large, and an agreed-upon reality isn't concluded worldwide. And people mostly disagree about what is and isn't real, even if it's just a slightly different opinion, that a lot of humanity's beliefs can't exactly be proven as well as they think they may. This is open for debate, but I would say not if you keep listening. What people think is science usually, if not always, gets proven wrong and replaced with another fact, theory. Years later, sometimes centuries, and add all of these facts with the fact humans never can predict disasters and historical events as well as they think / wish they could, and don't understand what they themselves and even normal ordinary humans are capable of doing when it comes to atrocities. Let me bring up the book Ordinary Men. If you don't know, it's about German men in their 40s being led to committing actions most wouldn't dream of under normal circumstances and average mental health, today's standards. Which means I'm talking, and even in today's standards. The biggest lessons to learn from this is you don't know as much as you think you do. You don't have as much power and free will as you think you do, and everyone is in the same boat, and the boat captain, the captain in this metaphor represents all of humanity, being both captain and crew in this metaphor, does not know where it's going. Does that seem like a safe boat to be ignorant in your surroundings in? Humans have to wake up collectively and realize all at the same time. It means collectively if you don't know. And at this point, you should be realizing that I am much smarter than any of you, at least when it comes to what I study. If you're better in math than me, congratulations, you're better in math than me. But I'm good at psychology and history and religion, and politics and geopolitics and world history. I mean, I know I said it twice, but world history and religious history, all of that. All the subcategories and branches that can go off of that. Anything to expand upon about that. You know what I mean? So, please, message me, text me, Facebook me, and let me know why you don't want to save humanity with me.